Hi Leo, welcome to your October 2025 astrology forecast. We are starting the month off in Libra season. The sun is in Libra, traveling through your third house. So there is a sense of harmony and peaceful energy around communication, your relationship with siblings or neighbors. So this is a social month. Libra is a Venus ruled sign and it is an air sign, and there's a lot of focus on connections and maintaining a balanced sense of communication. And then on the 4th of October, we have an interesting energy going on when Venus perfects a conjunction with the South Node in Virgo. And this is happening in your second house of money, the way you earn your financial resources or manage your personal finances. Now, the South Node is typically it typically talks about cutting ties or some sort of karmic endings. So this could, talk about some sort of endings related to finances, the way you earn or how you spend money. It can even be ending some sort of cycle related to how you manage finances or even how you value and relate to just the idea of money in a general sense. Now, Venus does rule your third house, which is again siblings, it's communication, it's learning styles. It can even talk about cousins, neighbors, your local communities. So when this Venus is meeting up a South Node, then it can indicate an ending related to these areas of your life. So maybe you are moving away, saying goodbye to siblings or neighbors or local areas to start some sort of new journey and to live in a new environment. So that could definitely be a thing. Now, Taurus, which is the other sign ruled by Venus, is in your 10th house. So that's all about career. So it can even indicate career changes or saying goodbye to coworkers or bosses. So that's around the 4th of the month for you. You'll probably feel this energy as you get closer to the 4th, but it can linger on as well, as the South Node is a very karmic energy, and it kind of lingers. It does talk about breaking of patterns. So it's not just like a sudden energy. You probably, as the month begins, you probably kind of have a sense of what this ending of cycle could mean. It can just be also a priority or changes in your priority, or just letting go of some sort of income resource, the way you earn money. So any of those could be true. And then October 6th, we have full moon in Aries, which is falling in your ninth house. Now, the full moon energy is all about culminations, but with what happened with the Venus and South Node, and now the full moon in Aries in your ninth house, there is some sort of maybe opportunity or decisions finalizing related to either higher education. Maybe you're thinking about going back to school, and because of this, you're changing locations and moving. It could even talk about taking on financial burdens related to education. So the combination of the energies can speak of something like this. Another thing with the ninth house is also just some sort of culmination, coming to conclusions related to travel plans. It can have something to do with foreign opportunities or overseas opportunities. So there may be travel opportunities available for you this month. Or it could also just talk about belief systems, your perspectives, religion, spirituality, anything that just expands your mind. And this area has been activated for a while now for you, with Neptune and Saturn moving back and forth between Aries and Pisces. So there is a lot of energy going on in your ninth house cusp. So I feel like on a larger sense, it might be related to more of like higher education, travel, but also, your belief systems, because Saturn in Pisces conjunct Neptune is a very spiritually oriented energy. It could even just talk about your horizons expanding, and it's kind of like part of your destiny or your fate. Oh, and with the full moon, what makes this especially potent for you is on the same day, Mercury moves into Scorpio, crossing over to your fourth house. And when it does that, it's squaring off with Pluto on your seventh house cusp. This is a pretty intense energy. It is a square aspect, so there's typically some sort of physical manifestation or something tangible that you can see. Mercury is related to news, information, coming to light, especially with the fourth house. It could be related to like hidden emotional truth surfacing, or secrets related to family, ancestors, home environments or dynamics, or even related to family members. That's kind of shifting your relational patterns with that Pluto on your seventh house. This energy is especially potent for you because not only is it aligning with the full moon energy, but it's happening on very strong angular placements in your chart. So when something like this is occurring either in the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th houses, they're a lot more noticeable and the energy is more intense. So there's definitely some sort of disruptions or heated matters surfacing related to your family or even your upbringing. Now, with that ninth house full moon, it can be possibly some sort of truth you're coming to realize, because again, the full moon is all about culmination, conclusion, coming to some sort of an ending, right? So maybe something related to past upbringing, emotional roots, and how that impacts your relational patterns is expanding your beliefs, possibly related to what you think is possible for you, but also what may be holding you back, what may be holding you tied to illusions, disappointments in relationships. So that's kind of the energy that I'm getting around that time period for you, with the planets involved and the houses involved for you. On October 14th, October is actually a pretty busy month. There's a lot happening. A lot of planets are communicating and working together with one another. And on the 14th is a good example. So on this day, Venus enters its own sign, Libra, and this is happening in your third house. Now, Venus is all about social connections. In the third house, it's about harmonious communication, social exchanges, information exchange, communication. But this Venus is working with Uranus in your 11th house and that Pluto in your 7th house. So these three planets are forming a grand air trine. So we can talk about a lot of information, communication that's coming through relationships as well as social groups. There's just a lot of shifts and transformations happening in areas of your social life. Now, the grand trine then expands and turns into what's called a kite configuration, involving also that Saturn and Neptune around your ninth house cusp. Now, depending on where, your sun, moon, or rising falls in Leo, the house placements of the planets would shift a little bit, but whenever a planet is closer to a cusp of a house, I always think that that planet manifests the cusp that it's affecting. So for example, Saturn is technically in your 8th house, but it's only about 4 degrees away from your 9th house. And as long as it's within 5 degrees of that 9th house cusp, cusps are really strong energetic points, activation points. So it's going to pull that Saturn energy towards the matters related to the 9th house instead of the 8th house, because the 8th house is already letting go of that Saturn. So anyway, Venus is opposing the Saturn and Neptune energy. And in a general sense, if we think about Venus as the planet of love, planet of relationships, especially in its own sign like Libra, it talks about balance in love, right? But when it's opposing, it's fighting off with that Saturn and Neptune energy. And when Venus is influenced or is under the influence of Saturn, for example, there's a lot of issues it deals with related to self-esteem, sense of unworthiness, undeserving of love, because Saturn is limitations, restrictions of the things that make you feel loved, make you feel adored, right? Or limit your capacity to love. Or to receive love. So it kind of causes blockages in that area. And then when you add Neptune into the picture, there's confusion, there's illusions. So there is some sort of realization or focus in this area, and Pluto and Uranus are really helping that Venus deal with all these themes. Now, it doesn't have to be love, because Venus can mean many different things, especially in your chart. Like I said, Venus rules your 3rd house, but it also rules your 10th house. So maybe, it's more talking about your relationship with coworkers, or your love for the kind of career or work that you do. So these energies can influence that sort of areas in your life rather than relationships. But because that Pluto is so prominent in your 7th house, which does talk about partnerships, romantic relationships, I am getting a strong pull towards those themes. So in the middle of the month, you may be dealing with some tension, some shift and perspective changes that's kind of making you face your own shortcomings, but also you may just have to face the illusions or the disappointments related to romantic connections. Yeah, let me see if I have any other. So another note that I do have here is, this kite, it does have like a larger purpose. And that purpose really comes from that Venus opposition to that Saturn Neptune energy. And that Uranus and Pluto can really help you purge outdated beliefs and stories that you also believe is true for your love life. So it might even, be related to that sort of thing. It's just, 9th house is anything, like I said, that broadens your perspective, it broadens your beliefs. It has to do with higher wisdom too, related to spirituality, possibly even religion. So I don't know, maybe there's also a message coming through related to like spiritual connections, soulmate, that sort of energy. I think some sort of information is trying to get your attention related to those type of connections. And then the next big transit that I want to focus on is the new moon in Libra. This is happening on October 21st, and the new moon is influencing your 4th house. It's technically falling in your 3rd house, but it's only about a degree and and a half away from your fourth house cusp. Again, that fourth house being an angular house, it's going to pour that new moon energy towards the house themes related to that fourth house. On the same day that the sun and moon are meeting in Libra, creating the new moon, Mars and Mercury are also perfecting a conjunction in Scorpio in your fourth house. So new moon in itself is a, important potent energy related to new beginnings. But when you pair it with that Mars Mercury energy, it intensifies the new moon energy. And this can talk about, either new beginnings related to your home environment, family dynamics, your emotional roots, but also it can point to new connections or a fresh start within your relationships with your family members. Because again, Libra is a sign ruled by Venus, very social, harmonious, but it comes from this energy of intense discussions, conflicts, information surfacing. It has a lot of emotional charge due to that Mars and Mercury in Scorpio energy. So there is, this also is another sense of like emotional purging, but it's really for the purpose of emotional rejuvenation. And it's the truths that you do have to face because it influences where you're coming from. It really speaks of some sort of emotional truths, secrets revealed about family members that may even cause conflict and tension, but also cause some sort of understanding and compassion because it's Libra, sun and moon. And then after that, from the 24th to the 29th, we also have another set of important energies. And this is a water grand trine that's forming between Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and that Saturn, Neptune. So these are involving your 12th house, your 4th house, and your 9th house. And because it is a water trine energy, these planets are really coming together to expand a sense of emotional intuition. It might even be emotional purging. Again, the Mars Scorpio, Mercury Scorpio conjunction is just a very intense but passionate energy, right? That's fueled by this emotional intensity. And then on top of that, that Jupiter in your 12th house is going to expand this Mars Mercury energy. In a general sense, again, this is an opportunity for healing. That Jupiter in Cancer is going to provide a lot of desire to bond, to nurture. It's going to create that sense of, especially family bond, right? Because it's Cancer. It's just going to strengthen it. So I think this could be a really important ending to the month for you, related to your family dynamic, but also causing a lot of spiritual or even like psychological release for you, because that 12th house is a lot of pain, hidden matters that we kind of don't want to face, or we're unable to understand and deal with. So it's kind of an intense month overall, but there is this greater purpose of like wanting to provide you with a sense of emotional healing, psychological insight, to expand your perspectives, to expand your ability to love and connect in new ways. I think that's all I will say for the month of October for you. Best of luck.